Hey you guys, welcome to the Ant-Man channel. It is Sunday the 14th of December 2014, and I'm your host Ant-Man. And sometimes I will have difficulties like I'm having right now, but it's cool because I don't, you know what I mean? I don't, this is all real, so yeah, sometimes I'll be a little, sometimes my camera might fall. Yeah, so does that discredit my reporting in any way? Anyways, welcome to the Ant-Man channel. I have an article in front of me right now from ClashDaily.com, and it is titled "Tea Party Representative Lord Obama's Amnesty is Morphing the U.S. into a Lawless Open Border Banana Republic." Now, if you've never heard that phrase before, I've heard it many a time, and if you don't know what it means, go look it up because I'm not the best at explaining this kind of stuff, but yeah, a lot of different things go into it, but let me just get into this article so we don't have to waste so much time. I think he calls it fundamental transformation. Patriots call it hell on earth. Principled conservatives voted on Thursday to not advance the House's continuing resolution as the measure fully funds both Obamacare and President Obama's unconstitutional amnesty granted to millions of illegal immigrants. However, Boehner's optimism might be misguided as several top conservatives have vehemently opposed this resolution as Boehner continues to try to stir up the votes necessary. Tennessee Tea Party Congressman Marsha Blackburn released a statement that is sure to resonate with fellow conservatives in the House and Senate. She said, "Unfortunately, this spending package fails to take the necessary actions to defund the president's lawless amnesty. As a result, I cannot vote in support of this measure. It is not fair that hard-working taxpayers in Tennessee will now have to compete for jobs with illegal aliens to whom the president is unilaterally granting work permits at a place when our workforce participation rate sits at a 36-year low and more than 90 million Americans are out of work. That is why I fought for and passed my bill in the House this summer to freeze the president's unconstitutional Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals DACA program. King Obama's amnesty is turning America into a lawless, open borders society." Just for the simple-minded out there, I guess. Sometimes, yeah, I will say stuff like simple-minded. I'm gonna stand where some very bold pastors are standing on this issue right now, and the first person that I would like to, not that I'm hiding behind him, but just so that you have a reference as to someone who has more credibility than me, if you will. Matt Chandler, for example, if you like to listen to him preach, he's from the Village Church, he will tell you that people are stupid. Now, is that messed up? Yeah, it's messed up to say that, but is it true? I mean, it's really hard to look me in the eye and say no, because I think that you would be very much suppressing what you know is true. And for the simple-minded out there, yeah, I have compassion because I myself came here because of my ancestors that work hard and had hope for the future and wanted to give me a life that is in a country that is not. There is no one that can compete with this country when it comes to the way we live our lives every day. But if you seriously back up the president on this issue, knowing the type of measures that he's taking to get this bill through, knowing that it is historically proven that when people take the type of power to do this and they don't consent to the will of the people, because nobody wants this, but he's going to do it anyway. And this is an old tactic that Democrats have used for years, decades, is that they call themselves the minority party when everything that they do is to hurt the minorities. They just use them to get their votes, and they're going to bring everybody's, uncles and cousins from south of the border over here to come and, try to live in our nation. But I tell you that it's our country is more than like a land with a flag and all that. It's an idea, and there is a spirit that lives in that idea that only the true American can uphold and make this country stand. Now, this type of open borders type of thing is making us open. It will leave us open to many things that you should consider, because instead of me telling you who's evil, who's good, I'm going to let you make that up for yourself. And I'm going to tell you right now, that you don't have, the world isn't a benevolent place, and you don't have, it's not like people aren't looking at you because you're not the biggest country, right? You're not the one with the biggest military, right? You're you're not the one with all the, media that influences everyone all over the world, right? Because of the type of talent that comes out of this country. Well, you have enemies, and they will come in through open borders. And just to name a few, you have an enemy called ISIS. They are trying to get their name noticed as IS, the Islamic State, to make themselves actually a established type of caliphate, if you will. They've already announced that they are the new caliphate. The caliphate, if you understood the Crusades, right, or history, that the Muslims have overtook the Middle East before, and they had someone that ran that, and that was that guy, and it's amazing because that's what they're claiming to do now, and they even say their leaders in Iran and the leader of many of these extremist groups have claimed victory over America. Now, what do they mean by that? If you don't see, literally bombs and mortars going off here, it means that they've taken over our society with their philosophies, with their influence, and they're trying to reinvent the definition of certain words to tolerate their coming in and infiltrating our land. Well, every time that I've seen anything happen in the Bible when it comes to nations and falling and all that, even in history with Rome, it's always the enemy coming in within and always taking you out from the inside because you're a gigantic empire. You think you can stand up to us with arms and weapons? We'll easily take you out. And that's just our military. People don't even think about like the good men and women, the statesmen, the citizens of this country that are about the Second Amendment. They're about all their rights. So every single person that's trying to pick a fight with us, anyone who falls in that category of right winger, Republican, conservative, Christian, traditional values of marriage being between a man and a woman, or having being pro-life, you know what I mean? All of that stuff is looked at as it's what's hindering progress from happening in our country. But I tell you, the progressives, the liberals of today, are very much given over to a reprobate, hypocritical mind, where they think they're the ones that are in charge. They're the smart people. We need to listen to them, and they got it all figured out. But you know what I mean? And they're the tolerant group. When, if you really read between the lines and really look at a tree for the fruit that it bears, instead of how that tree tries to put up its impressions and whatnot, you'll see for yourself that within is a heart that is all about self, all about gain for the moment, and recognition for the glory of man. And that is within us all. It's called sin. We all want to be glorified instead of glorifying God who gave us life and created this entire universe. But I tell you that it's not just that in the politics being under attack with liberals and progressives and their ideologies. Of course, this is not a battle of flesh and blood, but one of principalities and high places and authorities and all that. But that's a spiritual battle. So we want to win them over. We want to be like always truthful, but always with the right attitude, right mind, right heart. Because this isn't an intellectual bully beatdown. That's not the purpose for that. The purpose is to honor God and bring Him glory by telling the truth. Now, a lot of people haven't probably seen a real Christian nowadays, so now it's time to step up and really even be a little more zealous and be a little more on fire for the Lord by stepping out and even seeming kind of weird to your normal, everyday, church-going Christians, because they seem to just be fine and comfortable going to church these days, and they don't really read the Bible or try to really apply it to their lives, what Jesus tells us to do. And there's a spirit of fear in the air. There's a spirit of lies, and we have to overcome this. We have to not become like those whose hearts are becoming hard because of how iniquity is just kind of a wildfire. Like, if you know what iniquity is, all of the evil that's going on around you that seems to just go on with no consequences, but is actually stirring up more division and hate and all that. And you can see that in Ferguson and in New York right now. You see one problem leading to another, and it's because of that you see that the love of many is growing cold, and we're not reaching out to each other anymore. But I tell you, man, it's time to open your mouth, Christians. It's time to say what's up, and we need to stand up for God and be bold now, and that's what we're called to do. Not because I'm a tough guy, not because I'm John Wayne, not because I think I'm a, you know what I mean. I'm trying to get in a fight with nobody, but the fact of the matter is that we should care about people by telling them what's right. We know what's right and wrong. God uses the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. People who think they have it all figured out, and people who lean in their own understanding and use their own strength to try to, put all the puzzle pieces together. But I tell you that without God and His testimony and the gospel, you cannot know what the world and everything is, what all this is about. You don't know what's really going on, and you have to get into the Word. We have to lift up our banner for the Lord and say we already have the victory in Jesus Christ. So we have to continue to proclaim it as dark as it gets, man. And we have to continue to empower one another. That's why I have this channel, the Ant-Man channel. So God bless you and stay empowered.